Okay, so up till now we have discussed that contract is an agreement enforceable by law. So now we have to understand कि agreement में कौन कौन सी essentials और qualities होनी चाहिए जिसके basis पे वो contract बन सकता है, और what are the conditions given in enforceability by law which turns it into the contract. So for the formation of the contract, it looks like that it's a one term agreement and one term enforceability by law, but what it exactly means as per the meaning of the law and the act provisions, that we have to understand. So whenever we are studying the law paper, so we have to understand कि कोई भी अगर हम point discuss कर रहे हैं, तो we are talking about the legality or eligibility of that particular point only. तो उसके अलावा जितनी भी other requisites हैं, we consider it constant or to be present in the contract. So we are talking about that if we talk about two or more person, तो बाकी सारी चीजें अगर उसमें present है, but if the person is promising with oneself, it will not result into the contract, because it will not be considered as valid agreement that turns into the contract. So to be for an agreement to become the contract, it should have all the essentials, right? Yes, Tamsin. Okay. Right. So in this particular case, when we talk about the agreement to be the contract, so in that situation there is two or more persons are required. Then we come to the legal obligation. So when we are talking about legal obligation, we consider कि बाकी जितने भी उसके अंदर essentials हैं वो सारे के सारे present है. So when we talk about legal obligation, so we say that an agreement originates from a promise, and such a promise is supported by consideration, and this promise originates from offer and acceptance. So now in a particular situation, the offer and acceptance may lead to a promise, but such a promise might be to meet out the social needs, or might be with an intention to have legal relationship. So where if say if a father is making a promise to the son that I will be getting you a good gift, or I will be getting you the iPhone or any gadget or anything, say I'll get you a car if you get sold this much. So in that particular case, it also exists as a promise, because there is an offer, there is acceptance, promise भी है और consideration भी है. But what is there that it is a social, you know, agreement. So in this particular case, the promise, where the promise is being made with an intention to meet out the social needs or social obligations, such an agreement will become the social agreement, right? And the agreement which gives rise to the legal obligation, that will give rise to the legal agreement. तो वो लीगल अग्रीमेंट है जो आपका कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में टर्न हो सकता है. जो सोशल अग्रीमेंट है वो आपका कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में टर्न नहीं हो सकता. Here we can take an example. For example, a mother is cooking food for household members. Then in that case, she is not getting any remuneration. Promise है, intention है, and there is see there is offer that mama I will have would like to have this particular dish tomorrow morning. Fine, but somehow mother could not prepare the same dish. So you can just show your economic emotional thing that I am not going to have food today, or I am not going to have breakfast today. But in that case, you cannot compel her, or you cannot take her to the court of law for not preparing your favorite dish tomorrow morning, because it has been promised. Because reason is that this promise has been made to meet out the social needs. And in the economics in 11th and 12th, you must have studied the economic activities and non-economic activities as well. So some concept related to that particular aspect only, that when something is being performed not with an intention to be legally bound, and it has been to fulfill the non-economic needs or the social needs or the emotional needs, such an agreements becomes the social agreements. So if these are not performed, the other person does not have a right to go to court of law to get it performed or to get compensation for non-performance. But if it has been done with an intention to have legal obligation, with an intention to have legal relationship, then such a contract is enforceable by law, and there are remedies are available that if it is not performed, you can compel the other party to either to perform or to compensate for non-performance. So when we are talking about this legal obligation, we are considering that all the other essentials under both the heads are present. So we keep all the other remaining things as constant. Is it clear? The concept of legal obligation is clear to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So now there comes a particular statement which is, it is said that all contracts are agreements, but all agreements are not necessarily be a contract, right? So it means that first thing, that the agreements which are with oneself are not contract. An agreement where which do not give rise to legal obligation are not contract, right? And there is the third statement, no consensus ad idem, which we are going to discuss now. It will not give rise to contract. So for an agreement to be a contract, it must be between two or more persons. It must give rise to legal obligation, and there must be consensus ad idem in while formation of the contract. So now we are going to discuss the third point. I hope first two points are clear to all of you. Okay. Now when we talk about the third point, it says consensus ad idem. It means mind in full and final agreement at the time of formation of contract. राइट, इट मीन्स कि जब भी हम एक कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करते हैं, उस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट का हिस्सा होता है अग्रीमेंट. ठीक है, दिस अग्रीमेंट इज बीइंग ओरिजिनेटेड फ्रॉम प्रॉमिस प्लस कंसिडरेशन, and this promise has come from offer and acceptance. Now there are certain terms and conditions which are decided by the parties. जर्नल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक्ट ने क्या कहना है कि उसके अंदर ऑफर एक्सेप्टेंस होना चाहिए, प्रॉमिस होना चाहिए, और उसके अंदर लीगल ऑब्लिगेशन होनी चाहिए. लेकिन वो किस पर्टिकुलर चीज के लिए कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कर रहे हैं, what are the terms and conditions of formation, what is the subject matter, all these things, or what is the amount of consideration, everything is to be decided by the parties. Now, in this particular case, when we say consensus at idem, it means mind in full and final agreement, means कि जो दोनों parties हैं वो same terms and conditions पे, same subject matter पे और same consideration पे agree हो रही हैं. It means there is no mistake between the parties with respect to the subject matter or with respect to the other things. So अगर उनके mind different होगा, then in that particular case they have not agreed upon the same thing, and if they have not agreed upon in the same thing, then in that case there is no consensus at idiom. For example, we say A has two cars. One model batao apna favorite. Yes, Hanji, any one of you?
Swift.
Good. Okay, Swift. Then,
Nano.
huh? Nano car. Okay. Okay. So say suppose A is having a Swift car and one Nano car. He has offered to B that I want to sell my car for rupees 1,50,000. Now B had in mind that drives Swift car and which is in very good condition and he has purchased last year only. So B immediately said yes, okay, I am ready to buy your car, keeping in mind that it's he's getting a very good price for the Swift car. And uh, A was selling actually the Nano car. Then in this particular case, A has agreed upon to sell this subject matter and B has agreed to buy this subject matter. So it means that their mind is not in full and final agreement. They are not talking about the same subject matter for which the contract is to be made. तो सेम सब्जेक्ट मैटर होना चाहिए एट द टाइम ऑफ फॉर्मेशन ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. बाद में वो दोबारा से बोल दे ओके नहीं मैं तो आई वाज तो सेलिंग माय नैनो कार. बी सेड ओके इट्स situation, but for the initial stage when the contract is being formed, आगे आगे जैसे हम चैप्टर्स करेंगे विल डिस्कस कि इन छोटी छोटी डिसएग्रीमेंट्स और नेगोशिएशन से हमारा कॉन्ट्रैक्ट फॉर्म नहीं होता, वैलिड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नहीं बनता. But as of now, when we are talking about consensus ad idem, it means that the subject matter for which the parties are, entering into the contract, it is different in their mind. They have not spoken explicitly, but this is different in their mind. It means there is no consensus ad idem, and if there is no consensus, it will not result into the contract. तो वो आपका जो डिसएग्रीमेंट है वो टर्म्स एंड कंडीशन से भी हो सकता है, सब्जेक्ट मैटर से भी हो सकता है, कंसिडरेशन से भी हो सकता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल he has sent a message that I am selling my nano car for rupees 1,50,000 and somehow one zero was deleted and A B received the message that A is selling his nano car for rupees 15,000. He immediately said yes. तो वो consideration से related भी mistake हो सकती है. So there is no consensus. There can be terms and condition that I will take the payment by check only. I will not take the payment or I will take the payment by cash only. So there can be, but the other person have heard that I will not take. उसने बोला I will not take payment by cash. The other person heard that he will take payment only by cash. So there can be certain differences on any matter, be it subject matter, terms, condition, consideration. But जहां पर दोनों parties का mind full and final agreement में नहीं होगा, वहां पे आपका consensus ad idem नहीं होगा. और जहां पे आपका consensus ad idem नहीं होगा, वहां पर आपका वो agreement contract नहीं बनेगा. So all these three essentials needs to be present in the case of for the formation of the contract. So let me share it from the presentation as well, both the things. Yeah. First thing we have discussed that the law of agreement requires that agreement needs to have the legal obligation, right? Or there can be, if we talk about the agreement essential, so there can be social obligation, social agreement, or there can be legal agreement. So the agreement which gives rise to legal obligation can become the contract. So it means that when this statement says that the law of contract is not to be whole law of agreement, nor it is it whole law of obligations, it means that law of contract excludes your social obligations. Is it clear? It only talks about the Indian Contract Act, talks about the remedies in case the contract is not performed, and it talks about only the legal obligation, not the other. Then this one we'll discuss in continuation later. Then it says it excludes from its preview all obligations which are not contractual in nature and agreements which are social in nature. So while reading the chapter, you might come across these kind of statements. So wherever these statement comes, you just have to keep in mind that you have to explain the term agreement. You have to explain the two types of agreement, that are social agreement with the help of the example, and you can talk about the legal agreements with the help of the example. Then you are going to say that the legal agreements which gives rise to legal obligation satisfy all the conditions for the formation of the contract which are enforceable by law become a contract. So we'll discuss at later stages how to write these answers as well. Then I have not missed any of the slide here. Then we come to first consensus at Eden, then we'll discuss later. Yeah. So now when we talk about consensus ad idem, it says mind in full and final agreement. It says the essence on of agreement is the meeting of minds of the parties in full and final agreement. So the expression agreement is essentially and exclusively consensual in nature. That is, before there can be an agreement between two parties, there must be consensus at idem. It means that the parties to the agreement must have agreed about the subject matter of the agreement in the same sense and at the same time. So it means that if A is talking about Swift, then B is also talking about the same subject matter. If A is talking about Nano, then B is also understanding that he is going to buy this car. So these are the, it means, be it the subject matter, be it the terms, conditions. So both the parties must be in agreement, or both the parties must have agreed about the same subject matter at the same time. So at the time of formation of contract, their mind should be in full and final agreement. Right? Is it clear? All these 3 points clear to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Now we move to the second part of the contract, that is enforceability by law. So, very first essential of enforceability by law is intention to have legal relationship. It means that whenever the parties are entering into the contract, so their intention should be to have the legal obligation, to be bound by that. And if any promise has been made where there is no intention to be bound by the legal relationship or to be bound by the legal obligation, then in that case, such a promise, such an agreement cannot turn into the contract. So, for an agreement to be enforceable by law, the parties must have the intention to have legal relationship, and it is the same concept as we have discussed about the legal obligation. So it means if the parties have intention to have the social obligation or to fulfill their other needs or emotional needs, then and the parties are not intended to have the legal relationship out of a particular situation or out of a particular promise, then in that particular case, such an agreement or such a promise cannot turn into the contract, right? Then the second essential is offer and acceptance. When we talk about the offer and acceptance, so offer and acceptance means valid offer and valid acceptance as per the meaning of law. So there must be offer and acceptance before the we say that there is a contract. So in we coming chapters, the next chapter after this first chapter is going to be the of the offer and acceptance only. So we will be discussing what is the meaning of offer as per the law, what is the meaning of acceptance as per the law, or what are the legal conditions or eligibility requirements which needs to be fulfilled for an offer to be a valid offer, what are the conditions for the valid acceptance, so and so forth. So if we say that when we talk about the definition of offer, it says when a person shows his willingness to do or not to do something, and it is being communicated to the other party with an intention to obtain assent of that other, it is said the proposal is being made. So this is the definition as per the law. But later, when we'll discuss in the chapters and the other things, you will be able to understand and remember all these things. And if we talk about the meaning of acceptance, so acceptance says that when a person to whom the offer is being made gives his assent thereto, it is said to be accepted. And when offer is being accepted, it becomes a promise. So offer and acceptance is first one essential which needs to be there for the formation of the agreement. But there can be certain situations where the particular contract can be there without offer and acceptance, and these particular situations are called as the obligation imposed by the law, or these particular situations are called as the quasi contractual obligations, which we will discuss in the special contracts. Earlier it used to be there in the general contract act only, but now it has been moved to the special contract. So in the Salmon definition, I skipped one point, and let me tell you that this point only, which says that it is the law of those obligations or those agreements which create obligations, and those obligations which have their sources in the agreement. So sources in the agreement means कि ऑफर एंड एक्सेप्टेंस से प्रॉमिस बना और प्रॉमिस से आपका अग्रीमेंट बना. सो इसका जो अग्रीमेंट का सोर्स है वो आपका ऑफर एंड एक्सेप्टेंस से है. बट व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट द क्वाजी कॉन्ट्रेक्चुअल ऑब्लिगेशन, तो क्वाजी कॉन्ट्रेक्चुअल ऑब्लिगेशंस के अंदर जो आपका सोर्स ऑफ अग्रीमेंट है वो आपका ऑफर एंड एक्सेप्टेंस से नहीं होता. सो दीज डिटेल्स वी विल बी कवरिंग इन द लेटर चैप्टर्स. Next essential under enforceability by law is consideration. When we talk about the consideration, my dear friends, so we say the promise or every set of promises forming consideration for each other is an agreement, definition given by section 2 आपका in the Indian Contract Act. So it means that consideration is an essential part in a contract. So consideration का आपका separate chapter है. consideration किस फॉर्म में हो सकती है, किस सिचुएशन में वो वैलिड कंसिडरेशन मानी जाएगी, किस सिचुएशन में वो वैलिड कंसिडरेशन नहीं मानी जाएगी. All these things we are going to discuss in detail in the coming chapter. But as of now, you just need to know the meaning of consideration as per law, which says that consideration, when a person at the desire of the promiser does something or promises to do something or have done something or abstained something or abstains or promises to abstain something or promise in return of a promise is known as the consideration. So quickly, lawful honi chahiye, some value honi chahiye, consideration recognized by law honi chahiye. So all these essentials we are going to discuss at later stage when we will come to this particular chapter. Then another essential for the enforceability by law is capacity of parties. Capacity of parties means that who are capable for creation of the contract, who will be considered as eligible for the creation of the contract. So as per law, it says that every person who is of the age of majority, who is of sound mind, and who is not disqualified by law is known as capable of entering into the contract. So again, one complete chapter we are going to discuss later on. Then there comes the another essential which is known as free consent. फ्री कंसेंट मीन्स कि जब भी कोई प्रॉमिस कर रहा है, अपने आप को लीगली बाउंड कर रहा है कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में, सो देयर शुड नॉट बी एनी काइंड ऑफ प्रेशर, फिजिकल और मोरल और some kind of fraud or some kind of mistake for entering into the contract. So he has taken the informed decision for while formation of the contract, while legally being bound by a particular contract. So consent should not be affected by any of the factors. And which are these factors? What are the legal requirements? This we are going to discuss in this particular chapter only. Then there comes another essential, that is called as legality of object. It means that the subject matter should be within the purview of the law. It should not carry anything which is illegal, which is immoral, or which is unlawful. So, these essentials, or what are the items, or what are the restrictions, comes, or what are the situations which make it legal. So, that object is, we are talking about the subject matter. So, we will be discussing at later stage. Then there comes the agreement expressly not declared void. So, my dear friends, when we use the term void, void means not enforceable by law. So when we say void not enforceable by law, तो लॉ के हिसाब से कुछ रिस्ट्रिक्शंस हैं, कुछ उसके अंदर फ्लॉज है, जिसके कारण एक पर्टिकुलर सिचुएशन और एक पर्टिकुलर प्रॉमिस जो है वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नहीं बन सकता. तो अगर आपकी सब्जेक्ट मैटर या आपका प्रॉमिस उस लिस्ट में, उस रिस्ट्रिक्शन में आ जाता है, तो उस केस में वो एनफोर्सेबल बाय लॉ नहीं होगा. सो इट मीन्स an agreement to become a contract to be enforceable by law should be out of that list, should not fall in the list to be eligible to be enforceable by law. So again, this is going to we are going to discuss in later stage. So in the next class, probably we will be discussing the terms void, valid, all these things we are going to discuss in the coming classes. Then another essential is certainty and possibility of performance, and possibility of performance. इट मीन्स कि जिस भी सब्जेक्ट मैटर के बारे में हम बात कर रहे हैं वो सर्टेन होना चाहिए, हमें पता होना चाहिए हम किस चीज के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. सेकेंडली, दैट मस्ट बी पॉसिबल टू परफॉर्म. सो इफ वी आर मेकिंग ई प्रॉमिस, हमारी इंटेंशन भी है, ऑफर एक्सेप्टेंस भी है, एक कंसिडरेशन भी है, पार्टीज भी केपेबल है, कंसेंट भी फ्री है, लेकिन अगर आप इम्पॉसिबल चीज को के लिए प्रॉमिस कर रहे हो तो वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नहीं बनेगा, एनफोर्सेबल बाय लॉ नहीं होगा. सो इन दैट केस अ पर्टिकुलर सब्जेक्ट मैटर टू बी एनफोर्सेबल बाय लॉ must be certain and possible to perform. For example, A says that I will, decorate your dream room. So what you have dreamt of, I'm going to decorate it, or give you the outcome like that. But probably this is not certain. We cannot define or quantify that what the other person have dreamt of. So it is not going to give rise to a legal contract. It's not going to be enforceable by law. But yes, if there are certain terms and conditions, when they decided that I want the walls of this color, I want the decoration this color, I want the woodwork of this type, I need the flooring of this particular selection. So once this is specified, or once it is selected out of the pool, then in that case it is considered that it is certain to perform. Otherwise, we say that generalized statements or all these things are not considered as certain to perform. And when we talk about the possibility of performance, so possibility means that it should be legally and physically possible. Legally, physically possible hai, but legally possible nahi hai, then also it will lead to impossibility of performance. And the last essential is, we say, legal formalities. So for the performance of the contract and to be, in the court of law, sometimes we require that the particular contract should be written and registered. So for that, if any certain legal formalities are required, these needs to be fulfilled. So let me show you on presentation all these essentials. If you want to see, you just can see these. Now we are going to read about these in the presentation. Yes. Okay, so when we talk about the enforceability, so we say that when parties intend to create legal relationship, in case of breach of promise, the other shall have a right to go to court of law to enforce the promise. So it means that legal relationship होगी तभी वो in case of non-performance. Breach means non-performance. So in that case, the other parties can go to court of law. Then the parties' promise can be enforced only when it is made with the free consent, parties competent to contract, with lawful consideration and lawful object. The word contract is used for those agreements which are enforceable by law. Therefore, we can say the law of contract is concerned only with the obligation which arise out of an agreement. Contract is an agreement enforceable by law. So then we have discussed that there should be intention, legal obligation through offer and acceptance. Their free consent must be present, competency or capacity of parties should be there, lawful consideration and lawful object should be there. So as per this, we require to fulfill the requirements with the essential elements. So essential element says that there needs to be offer and acceptance, which says that there must be two parties to the agreement, one party making the offer and the other party accepting the offer, and the terms of the offer must be definite and acceptance of the offer must be absolute and unconditional. Then, when we talk about intention to create legal obligation or legal relationship, so it says when two or more parties enter into the contract, their intention should be to have legal relationship. If there is no such essential, no such intention, then the particular situation, particular circumstance will not give rise to a contract. So these examples we have already discussed. So it says that if a husband has promised to pay 5,000 to his wife as a household allowance, later on the parties separated and husband failed to pay the amount, the wife asked for the allowance and sued for it, but it was decided the agreement was not enforceable by law because when such promise was made, there was no intention to have legal relationship. Here also we can discuss a case of Balfour versus Balfour. When we talk about the case of Balfour versus Balfour, so whenever we are going to study a particular case, so it is going to have three parts. Number one, that I call it as a storyline. That is the what was the basic thing around this about the case. Second is that the provisions of law with to which particular provision this particular circumstance is related, and the third thing is the judgment or the decision given in a particular case law. So when we say the judgment, तो अगर किसी सिचुएशन में किसी केस में वो जजमेंट हुई है और उससे सिमिलर काइंड ऑफ सिचुएशन एग्जिस्ट करती है, so this particular decision will automatically apply to that situation as well. So when we talk about the Balfour versus Balfour case law, so the storyline says that Mr. and Mrs. Balfour went to Ceylon for a vacation, and they were enjoying the vacation, but somehow Mrs. Balfour got ill, and Mr. Balfour got a message from the office to join back immediately. Now, Mrs. Balfour has been advised not to travel in that condition, and Mr. Balfour had to come back because of the office call. So, in that situation, Mr. Balfour promised to pay 30 pounds or some particular amount to Mrs. Balfour to maintain herself, to stay there, or to meet out all the expenses. and later on, due to some misunderstanding, etc., Mr. Balfour stopped sending that money, and Mrs. Balfour filed a case in the court of law for the claim of that money. And it was held in the court of law that because at the time of formation of the contract, the formation of the promise, the intention of the party was not to have legal relationship, or this was not to have the legal obligation. So in this case, Mr. Balfour was not bound to pay that sum of money to Mrs. Balfour. So provision of law kya hua? That it says that when the parties have intention to have legal obligation, so then the particular situation will exist in form of a contract. तो चाहे बाकी की सारी चीजें प्रेजेंट हो, लेकिन अगर इंटेंशन नहीं है लीगल ऑब्लिगेशन की, तो वो अग्रीमेंट आपका कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नहीं बन सकता. तो इस सिचुएशन में we have to understand the same example actually is being shared in the presentation. So I got inclined to share this particular case law with you. Okay, ji? Then let's move further on capacity of parties. So capacity of parties says कि जब भी parties कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कर रही हैं, तो वो एज पर मीनिंग ऑफ लॉ कॉम्पिटेंट होनी चाहिए कॉन्ट्रैक्ट को करने के लिए. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ यू आर टेकिंग एडमिशन in first year for undergraduate course, you must have at least cleared 12th and must have satisfied the minimum eligibility criteria. So how you are competent? So this is another thing about the your cutoffs and the list, etc. So every college have different cutoff, but there are certain minimum eligibility criterias which needs to be fulfilled along with this. So as per law, capacity of party says कि जो parties है वो competent होनी चाहिए. Competent कैसे होंगी? Age of majority, soundness of mind, and not disqualified by law for contracting the contract. ठीक है जी? Then there is lawful consideration. When we talk about lawful consideration, so consideration means कि जब एक person promise करता है कुछ करने का, so in return the other person is also doing something. So that promise in return of promise is called as a consideration, and as per law consideration lawful होनी चाहिए, चाहे वो कैश में हो, काइन में हो, या किसी पर्टिकुलर काम को ना करने में हो, एब्स्टिनेंस की फॉर्म में हो, then also it is regarded as a consideration, and it should satisfy the requirements of valid consideration as well. Then we move to free consent. So free consent we have already discussed that whenever parties are entering into the agreement, their consent should be free, should not be affected by any of the legal or physical pressure. So as per meaning of law, it is called as coercion, undue influence, fraud, मिसरिप्रेजेंटेशन एंड मिस्टेक. तो इस केस में अगर आपकी कंसेंट इनमें से किसी भी फॉर्म से आपकी अफेक्टेड है, then in that case it will be considered that it is not free and it will not give rise to the contract, right? Then lawful object. The object, subject matter should not be illegal, should not be immoral, should not be opposed to public policy. Agreement not declared void means that if the agreement is declared void, तो it means law ने पहले ही बोल दिया कि that these kind of agreement or these kind of promises are not enforceable by law. तो अगर वो आपके enforceable by law नहीं है, then in that particular case the particular agreement अगर वो declared void है, तो these will not be enforceable by law और वो contract नहीं बन सकते. So all these agreements and details we are going to discuss in the coming classes. Then there comes the certainty and possibility of performance. So a particular subject matter offer should not be vague, should not be indefinite, should not be impossible to perform. Then in that particular case, it will be turned into the contract, otherwise not. And the last one is the legal formalities. So when we talk about the legal formalities, so there can be certain situation where the registration or written agreement, etc., is required. So in those cases, the legal formalities must be fulfilled. So now we are, I hope the this much is clear to all of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, will you share this PPT of first chapter with us?